we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We are back, episode 14. Back with the best podcast in the world, and I got the numbers to back it. You know, men lie, women lie, whatever else you identify as, you probably lie too. But numbers don't lie, and if you check my numbers, I got my last episode 16 views. Before that, 21. Before that, 25. Before that, 29. So we're doing pretty dang good. Whether we are or aren't the number one podcast in the world, we're definitely close. I uploaded a video yesterday? Yeah, today is Monday. So I have this video right here that is live. What Mike Tyson taught me about jiu-jitsu. It's pretty interesting. And there's a lot more. I just kind of did that video a little bit differently, more than what I do my other videos. I'm trying to segue away from being somebody that just kind of sits in front of my camera at my desk and just talk to you guys, kind of like what I'm doing right now, because I feel like it's more of like a podcast kind of thing when I do it like this. I feel like if I do more things like what I did in that video, or just some of the other videos I've been experimenting with new ways of I hit my mic with my hand, with new ways to do my videos and just different ways to make it more interesting for you guys, because I feel like it's just monotonous, or I don't know if that's the word. It's just very boring if you just see me sit here, unless we're talking like a podcast setting and that's what you're expecting. I'm trying to do more things, give you guys a better look into my life. You guys can get to know me better, kind of get an understanding, or like develop a relationship and a personality with you guys, so you guys can kind of see who I am, so I'm not just like, hey guys, today we're talking about UFC 255, or just, you know what I mean. It's just it's not as fun. So I feel like this is going to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more vlog-esque stuff. I'm not trying to be a vlogger or make vlog like content, but just more stuff so you guys can see what I do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's jiu-jitsu, working out, just going to the store like I did in this video, or just random stuff. That's what I'm trying to I guess go towards. So if there's any ideas or things you guys want to see me do, let me know, because I'm always open to things. I got a good idea for this week, a couple good ideas. You guys are gonna probably like both these videos. One is going to be a challenge of some sort. I'm not gonna get into all that, but it'll be pretty sweet. Hopefully we'll have that video out this week. And I'm also gonna have another video with my mom. I kind of actually talked about it in the video I just talked about. But yeah, that's all I got for announcements and whatever else, shameless plugs. As always, too, in the description I have links for everything. I think I have my social media in there. I have the people who do my music. I got them linked below. I got a DraftKings referral if you guys are trying to sign up on DraftKings. Obviously, I'm not encouraging anybody to gamble on sports or sports bet, anything like that. But if it's something you guys are at least leaning towards or considering, and you guys want to do it and get a little kickback, some cash back when you do sign up, you guys can sign up with the referral link below. And then I do have also a little Venmo down there. If you guys check that out, I have a Venmo linked. So if you guys are feeling generous, you guys really like what I do, or if you guys maybe follow my bets, tail my bets, and win a little extra money, and then you're feeling generous, you want to tip, that's down below for tips or just generosity. But yeah, I think I'm done with shameless plugs now. Getting into the topics we have this week. This weekend we had, this past weekend we had the UFC Fight Night, Thiago Moises and Islam Makhachev. That was a pretty nice card for a fight night. There was a couple fights. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Quick betting recap while I'm pulling up the card. Again, in my Mike Tyson video, I showed my bets and everything like that. I had a 3-leg parlay, and if you guys know me, if you've been following my channel for a while, I'm like very not about doing like more than 2 or 3 legs in a parlay. So 3 legs was me getting really risky. I did a 3-leg parlay with Islam Makhachev, who was like a lock, like a minus 700 some, and then I had Gamrot, Mataush Gamrot. Learning these people's names, had him. He was like a minus 200-ish when I got him. And then I had Sergey Morozov, who was like a plus 130 or 140 underdog. So that was pretty nice. Parlay that together. Obviously, all those hit. So that was a pretty nice little parlay. I also was gonna bet Billy Quarantillo. I'd sent out a bet to a bunch of my friends, like telling them to tail these bets, to follow these bets. It was like Sergey Morozov. I'll actually pull it up too, so you guys know I'm not completely BSing here. I had like 2 out of the 3 people I picked were underdogs, and they all hit, so it was pretty sweet. There you go. I called it. I said Morozov moneyline, told him 1.5 units, Quarantillo moneyline, 1.5 units, and Islam 75 units. And as you can see, plus 120, plus 130, and then minus 720 there. So I had a pretty solid weekend on the bets. 2 underdogs that I called, they hit. So it's obviously pretty profitable if you guys are into the betting scene and you guys know what that means. But yeah, that was pretty solid weekend. I got the bets pulled up here now, or not the bets, the card, dare I say. And the next weekend also, you can see we've got the Sandhagen Dillashaw. Get into that here in a little bit if my computer decides to load. I can pull up these prelims. Pretty solid card for a fight night, as I said. Nasmacito, who's a minus 365, 365 favorite. Sorry, I was stumbling on my words. Couldn't figure out what I was trying to say. He was losing the first round, actually, to a plus 280 dog, as you see there. Ended up coming back second round, knocking him out. Francisco Figueiredo, another massive dog. If you guys would have bet on Malcolm Gordon, that would have been some solid money. Francisco Figueiredo, minus 310 favorite, loses decision to Malcolm Gordon. Khalid Taha and Sergey Morozov, one of the bets that I called that I placed. I had Morozov in this. As you can see, he was an underdog. Decision looked phenomenal. I broke this fight down in the video that I was just talking about, and like exactly how I said it was going to happen is how it happened. He was just going to grind him out. He was going to make him tired. And Taha's really only danger is that explosivity and that power. And once you take that away from him, especially with the wrestling and the grappling exchanges, that's going to take away a lot of your energy and really zap your cardio and all that. So that's kind of what you saw. Lemos and Ruiz, pretty solid knockout, 35 seconds in, very precise. Lemos looked like a sniper in that. Daniel Rodriguez with the first round knockout of Preston Parsons, making his UFC debut. I was going to bet Rodriguez because I've been really big on Rodriguez. I was going to throw him in this parlay, but then something told me, like, for whatever reason, this Preston dude, I think his fights are all like they've never gone to a decision. It's either he gets knocked out or finished, or he finishes somebody. And for whatever reason, it was making his UFC debut, and I was like, I don't know, I may not bet on Rodriguez because I've been seeing a lot of people that are coming in on short notice, making their UFC debut and knocking people out who were like when these guys were underdogs, like the Terrence McKinney's one that comes to mind. There's somebody else that I was about to say and I can't remember. I don't know, but there's been a lot of people coming in. Surprising people when they're making their UFC. God, what was it? Jeremiah Wells, that's who it was against. I don't know. Jeremiah Wells though knocked out whoever. He was a pretty decent. Warley Alves, that's who it was. Sorry, I couldn't think. Warley Alves. A lot of people have been getting beat by people coming in their UFC debuts. Gabriel Benitez, Billy Quarantillo plus 145 dog. Another one, as you saw in the text messages. I called that one Quarantillo. Pretty much, it was a very exciting fight, pretty back and forth fight, but it looked like once they went to the ground, Quarantillo was the more proficient guy on the ground, was a little bit more dominant. Speaking about dominance on the ground, Rodolfo Vieira with the third round submission, it was a pretty sweet back take and rear naked choke. Like he hopped on him like a flippin' leech, stuck to him and sunk up that rear naked choke. Pretty sweet. Mateusz Gamrot with the minute and 5 second Kimura, which is pretty sweet. Just got him to the ground. No one really got touched up, I don't think. I think maybe a couple, like no more than maybe like 5-10 punches thrown. So I guess ideally, if you're gonna lose or you're gonna win, that's an ideal way for a fight to go. Like no one really gets hurt. Someone gets submitted, and no one really ends up getting hurt. They just tap out and both collect your checks. Somebody's only getting one check, somebody's getting two, but I feel like that's an ideal way for a fight to go, win or lose, because nobody wants to get hurt, and everybody knows the dangers of fight. Marion Renault, Miesha Tate coming back for her first time in almost 5 years. Gets the third round TKO. I just think there's I don't know. I've talked about this before. I just think there's levels to MMA, and there's in between those levels there's steep drop-offs. And Miesha Tate was somebody at one point in time, still may be a very high level. Obviously, she was a champion at one point in time, a very high level women's mixed martial artist, and it's just weird because you have your people like your Shevchenkos, your Nunes, and I guess you could throw Cyborg in that category that are really, really good, probably the best. And then you have like it's kind of a drop off to people like a Rose Namajunas type, Wei Li Zhang, like those type of people. And then you get kind of like your gatekeepers, your Holly Holmes. I guess I don't really know if Miesha Tate's like a gatekeeper or like one of those people that's a step below, like in the Rose Namajunas tier. And then after that, there's a really big drop-off, and I feel like that Miesha Tate kind of belongs to like that very select group of people that are elite in the women's MMA scene, and she showed that, especially coming back after almost 5 years not fighting, coming back and having a pretty dominant performance Islam Makhachev, Thiago Moises. I've been telling a lot of people before this fight happened that I think Moises was going to put up a better fight than what people anticipated, because I feel like, especially as you can see, Makhachev was a minus 720 favorite. That's massive. And Moises did, for as long as he really could, it got to a point where you could see, like, okay, Makhachev is clearly the better fighter. But Moises, I think, did a good job. Like, even on the feet, he was throwing some fast, powerful kicks. He was bringing up those high kicks very fast, and there's a lot of power behind him. Even on the ground, he took down Makhachev. He was putting Makhachev up against the fence, making him work, doing a good job with the submission defense for the most part. I mean, every single round, I'm pretty sure Moises got taken down, and it took him all the way up to the fourth round to get submitted. So I guess you got submitted in the fourth round, but you held on for 4 rounds, so I think that's pretty good. Makhachev looked pretty dominant. Looked like he didn't have any problems with cardio, anything like that. And everybody's been saying it, but dude looks like he's going to be a problem for sure in the future. And then I'm trying to think what else before we get into the fights next weekend. The Ultimate Fighter, we have I can see the guys' faces. It's a middleweight fight. We have that tonight, and I really don't know who I'm going to take. I think I'm going to take the Team Volkanovski guy, the dude with the mullet. I think for whatever reason, the power is in the mullet. I fear the mullet, so I'm going with the guy with the mullet. But pretty exciting season so far. I don't even know how many episodes we have left. We're on number 6, number 7, 8. I don't know. We're getting I guess towards the I guess not really towards the end, because we're still in the first round of the tournament, but pretty exciting season. Like I said, I had never really watched it episode for episode through the entirety of a season and really gotten into the series, I guess, but it's been pretty sweet. The Rittenhouse and High Stand, whatever the fight I talked about in last weekend's episode, that was the best fight of the series. Very, very exciting, entertaining fight. Let me see. Pull up the prelims for next weekend. And also, too, I don't know if anybody saw, before we get into this, but if you guys saw how Conor was pretty much, Conor had been saying, like, after the whole UFC 264 breaking his leg, all that good jazz, initially says it was a freak in his post-fight interview while he's laying there in the octagon, saying it was a freak accident. He doesn't know how it happened. It was nothing that Poirier did. He didn't check any kicks. It wasn't from any kicks that he checked or anything like that. It was just a freak accident, kind of like Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva. He said it himself. It was a freak accident. His coach, John Kavanagh, comes out and says he has no idea how Conor broke his leg. He's a perfectly healthy dude, completely. He's strong. He's healthy. Eats well. Everything. He pretty much said he has no idea how it happened. And then they all come out saying, well, it was injured before the fight. They had a bunch of fractures in his leg before the fight. UFC knew about it. Athletic Commission knew about it. All this stuff. You can ask these people; they know about it. And then apparently the Athletic Commission came out and said, "No, we didn't." Like they pretty much refuted the claim, saying, "No, that's not the case. Like we didn't know that was anything going on." And part of me just believes. It's no secret. I've said it a billion times on this channel. I try to shoot everything straight. I try to be 100% as honest as I possibly can and transparent. And sometimes I might say things and I sound biased. I'm going to be clear with you guys. I'm not the biggest Conor fan. I'm not like a hater, like where everything Conor does, everything he says, like I'm against and I can't stand it. I'll give him credit where credit's due, but especially right now, it's hard to get with him. It's because something just in me believes that this is all a bunch of BS. Because if you knew your leg had a bunch of fractures on it and it was compromised going into the fight, a fight that big, why would you take that fight? I know he's taken fights before, torn ACLs, all that stuff, good jazz, but the stakes were higher. It was before he had a name for himself. It was before he won any belt whatsoever. It was actually for an interim belt is what he fought for with a torn ACL. It was before he, really had his name and his money, everything to him. And then on top of that, coming into a fight, coming off of a loss, being knocked out, you want to come into this fight as 100% healthy as you possibly can. And then you come into the fight throwing leg kicks very heavy with that leg. Pretty much not only exclusively, but very, very, for the most part, exclusively with that leg that you broke. Just blasting kicks to the leg, teep kicks, everything you can imagine, spinning body kicks. You're throwing every kick in the flipping book with conviction with that leg that you said you knew was compromised going in. Why would you do that? Like, what kind of game plan is that? So, and especially with the Nevada State Athletic Commission coming out now saying that They don't know what Conor's talking about, that his leg, if it was compromised, like they probably wouldn't even let him go into a fight like that to begin with. I don't know. I'm curious. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Conor's full of it, or do you guys think he's being honest? I just think when you really think about it, you break it down, you look at the timeline of everything that's been said. Says he initially says it was a freak accident. His coach says he has no idea how it happened. He's a perfectly healthy, strong dude. Eats well, exercise, train, stretch, all that good jazz. They have no idea how it happens. And then a couple days go by. They've known this whole time what was going on. He had fractures on his leg going into the fight. Everybody knew about it. Conor knew about it. His team knew about it. UFC, Athletic Commission, everybody knew about it. And then Athletic Commission's like, no, we didn't know about it. But then, and you like I said, you listen to the timeline, and then you watch the events along the timeline. It doesn't make sense, because if you knew about it, you knew all this stuff going in, your leg's this compromised, why would you have that approach? Why would you be blasting such powerful kicks and a wide array of kicks with a compromised leg? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm just, again, I could be digging into Conor, but I'm trying to be, I'm trying to look into it and be playing both sides, being whatever, as fair and transparent as possible. But even if you did know about it, say you did know about it, why come in with that game plan with a compromised leg and throwing that much power? And I'm just going to keep saying it over and over again. But you guys get my point. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Do you guys think it's a bunch of BS, or do you guys think there's actually some truth to it? Switching over now, though, I'm done yapping about this. The fights next weekend, or this weekend, I should say, the Sandhagen Dillashaw, first fight of the night, Hannah Goldie and Diana Belbita. I really don't know about either of these two fighters. I really am not a big fan of Goldie's hair. It's a little too goldy for me, so I'm going to go with Belbita. Sajar Eubanks and Elise Reed. I don't know much about either of these two fighters. I think Sajar is fighting for her record not to go negative, because I believe right now she's 6-6. So yeah, she's at 500 right now in her career, and I feel like this is a win, or a must-win for her, because obviously if you lose this, you're losing to somebody unranked, and then on top of that, you're going under 500 in your career, and you could potentially get cut from the UFC. That's not a good look, being under 500 and ranked in the top 15. That's also part of my argument with the whole women's divisions. It's just a huge drop-off, because you have someone that's ranked in the top 15 in the world with a record that is 6-6 that are at 500. That's just. And then you have people like flipping Shevchenko, who's like 25-3 or something. Julio Arce and Andre Ewell. I think Arce is the favorite, but I actually really like Ewell. He's an underdog. I'm going to go with Ewell just because. Adrian Yanez, Randy Costa. I really like Yanez. Dude is he's like a young Jorge Masvidal. I really like him. Going with Yanez. Ian Heinisch and Nasruddin Imov. I don't know how to say that. Heinisch is a favorite, though. I was looking at the lines. I'm probably gonna go with. I'm gonna stick with the underdog theme. I'm gonna go with Imanov. He looks. I don't know. I've seen him fight before. And he looks like he's a pretty. If he's the dude I'm thinking of, it's like the French Sniper or something. I think he's gonna be. He's slept on. Trevin Jones and to be determined. I'm going to go with Trevin Jones. Every time, the past two fights, I've watched Trevin Jones. I've told people to bet on him. He's been an underdog, and he's came through, finished both times. I'm going with Trevin Jones again. If he's an underdog, I don't know what it is, but if he's an underdog, just hammer it, because the dude's been a beast with the underdog odds the past two fights. Chris Daukaus, going with Chris Daukaus. Punahele Soriano and Brennan Allen. I really like Puna. I'm going to go with Puna, but this should be an exciting fight. I think Puna will knock him out, because it's literally just a striker, a dude with a lot of power, and a dude that's really good at grappling. I'm going to go with Puna, though, I'm going to say this fight's not going to go the distance. Maybe under 2.5 rounds would be a good bet. But, yeah, I like Puna. Mickey Gall, Jordan Williams. Mickey Gall's actually an underdog, but I'm going to go with Gall in this fight. Jordan Williams, I think he's, if he's the guy I'm thinking of, he's diabetic, and he doesn't, he can't cut weight at all, so he fights at middleweight, but he, just walks around at, 183, that's normally what he weighs, and that's what he just steps on the scale as, so he's not cutting any weight, he's not depleting himself at all, but he's also going to be coming in a little bit undersized, or wait, no, he's fighting at, welterweight this time. I believe he fought at middleweight last time. Let me look that up. So, maybe he is cutting weight this time, maybe he figured something out. Let me see, it's Williams, right? Jordan Williams, MMA. But I believe he used to, because he was very, very undersized in his Contender Series fight, which he won, and then his UFC debut he lost, but he was very undersized against our fella Nasruddin that we were just talking about. And that Nasruddin fights at middleweight, so I know that was at middleweight. I'm almost 1,000% certain. Yeah, he fights at 185. So, Yeah, he fought his last fight, so he is cutting weight this fight. I'm wrong. So he will be cutting weight this time. So it might be a little bit more competitive because I just feel like when you're going to be a little bit undersized, eventually there's going to get to a point where it just starts affecting you. But I'm going to go with Mickey Gall. I know that Williams is the favorite, but I'm curious. I'm going to look to see who does Tapology have. They got Williams in this fight. Okay, I'm going to stick with Gall, though. I'm going to stick with my jiu-jitsu guy. Macy Barber, Miranda Maverick. I think Macy Barber is the hype's kind of left her. She had a lot of hype behind her for a while. Now she's lost 2 fights in a row. I think I'm going to go with Miranda Maverick in this one. Darren Elkins, Derek Minner. I'm going to go with Darren Elkins just because he's a fellow Hoosier, and he's a very tough dude. You can never really count him out. He's like one of those people that you could beat the snot at him for 14 minutes, and then that last minute comes back, puts it on you, knocks you out. Derek Minner, though, very tough, very solid grappling. It'll be a very good fight. This is going to be a very grappling-heavy fight. Something tells me, I don't know. I'm sticking with Elkins, though. I'm sticking with Elkins. Hallian Pavia, Kyler Phillips, very, very big. If you guys are new to my channel, if you guys have seen any of my other videos, especially my most underrated fighters in each UFC division, I'm very big on Kyler Phillips. Dude is a dog. He's very well-rounded, both on the feet and on the ground. Hallian Pavia, a tough dude. He's number 12 at flyweight, but they're fighting at bantamweight. I got Kyler Phillips in this by a mile. Aspen Ladd and Macy Shison. I got Aspen Ladd in this. And the main event, Corey Sandhagen, TJ Dillashaw. I got Corey Sandhagen. I just believe that the sport. I was listening to TJ Dillashaw. He said he didn't really train much. He was just enjoying it. Okay, let me rephrase that. When he first got his suspension in 2019, he didn't really focus much on training. He just focused more at being home and just like enjoying life for what it is because he knew he had 2 years off. So he's like, I'm just going to enjoy this because I'm not going to have this kind of time for at least until after I retire. So he sounded like didn't really focus on. He said he didn't even really focus on MMA. He stayed in shape the whole time, but he said he didn't really focus on MMA until like November, December of 2020. So that makes me a little bit nervous because I feel like as an MMA fighter, you have to be constantly training. Suspended or not, the sport is constantly evolving. We've seen how much the sport has evolved in the past 25 years or however long it's been around, how much it's evolved in the past 10 years, let alone the past 2 years with calf kicks. Think about calf kicks and all that stuff. The sport constantly is evolving. If you're not training, you might get a little bit behind. I've noticed this even with jiu-jitsu. There's people that I've trained longer than, but they've been training just a little bit more. Like when I slack off and they're still training, they start to catch up to me. And I'm like, okay, now they're getting like, it's just, you have to constantly be working or else people are going to pass you up. The people that are working are going to pass you up. Sandhagen's been working this whole time. He's number one. It says he's number 2, but I think he should be. Or Peter Yan's number 1, but really outside of the whole debacle with Aljo and Yan, he's the next guy in line for the title. He's like the number 1 contender, but he's number 2. Sandhagen's on a tear though, and I think Sandhagen will win just because he's a very tricky matchup. Maybe if Dillashaw comes out with a wrestling heavy approach, that might be a little tricky because Dillashaw is actually a pretty decorated wrestler, and that's his base. And Sandhagen, obviously, that'd be a way to nullify a dude like him who's a kind of a kickboxer that kind of needs space to kind of flow and hit you with those strikes. I don't know though. I think it's a tough fight for Dillashaw. He's a big dude. Sandhagen is. But I think for Sandhagen to be a minus 180 favorite, that's kind of weird to me. I think the line should be a little bit closer. Maybe like, let me find like, there's really no other fights on this card. But I think it should be like maybe like a minus 130 to like plus 105 or whatever the lines would be on that. I think Sandhagen should be more like a minus 130. I think the line should be a little bit closer, not minus 180. But we'll see though. I got Sandhagen ultimately. I think it'll be a good fight though, especially for Dillashaw's first fight back. It's a good fight and a very tough fight. Let me think though. I think that's just about it for everything that I have that I want to talk about. Like I said, I was talking about the changes, not really changes, but I guess not with my channel, but more with my content. I'm curious though, does anybody have any ideas, video suggestions? Someone let me know in the chat. There's not really many people talking in the chat either nowadays. It kind of stinks. Don't really get the conversation going. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing videos like that a little bit more. I'm still gonna do all my normal videos that I do, like my mom reacting to stuff, my betting videos for big fight cards, my podcast, just your occasional sit down talk video where not your occasional, it was like all my videos before, but where it was just me, just talking about things, whether it's MMA, Spencer Jones getting into a bar fight, whatever. I'm gonna start doing that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna do gonna try to do more uncut stuff of me just like sitting down and just talking about things that I've picked up on, things that I've learned. Like I've got a bunch of video ideas, like things that I just want to sit down and talk about, like the things that I've learned over the past 3.5 years of doing jiu-jitsu, which is actually something I picked up, or that was kind of like what inspired the whole Mike Tyson video that I uploaded yesterday. Just talk about like the biggest and most important things I've learned that you should do, that you shouldn't do, things you should try to, I guess, pursue, and things you should try to stay away from. There's a bunch of different things here that I have, even just like the evolution of MMA, talking like something we were just talking about, how much the sport of MMA has evolved. Like, is it time for weight cuts to kind of be banned, or like what can you do about weight cuts? Should we start doing the UFC? Should they start doing like what one's doing, like with hydration tests and all that stuff? There's a bunch of things that I could just sit down, like almost like in a stream, where you guys could all come in, we can all talk about it live, so it's not just me one-sided, you're hearing my opinion, just me talking about it. If I say something you guys agree, disagree with, you can let me know in the chat, and then we could just kind of go off that and have like an open conversation. I feel like that's something I want to try to do more, where it's kind of, I guess, a live stream, uncut, me just talking to you guys. We have a topic, and then we just talk about it. It could be MMA related, can be completely unrelated to MMA. Like just things that I've learned trying to, I guess, because this is, I guess I plug it a lot in the end of my videos where I talk about I'm really trying to make something out of this, but being able to make a living off of this, the podcast, the YouTube, all the stuff that I'm doing, that's like my dream, my ideal thing. And there's a bunch of things I think that I've picked up on, things that I've figured out, things that I've learned, things that along this journey of trying to, I guess, pursue my dreams, that I could feel like I've learned that might be able to, just if we talk about it, could help someone else. Maybe someone else could, I guess, see like what I'm saying, like, oh yeah, that does make sense. Because there's a lot of things, like especially the corny stuff people say a lot of times, like you hear, I don't know, now that I say it, there's not something corny that pops, like time flies. That's a good one. Even though it has nothing to do with chasing dreams, it's something corny, everyone says it, but it's really true when you actually think about it. Just how fast time flies, and it does, the older you get, it goes faster. But it's unrelated, but just that kind of stuff. There's so many different things, but like more towards like pursuing your dreams. The corny stuff and like breaking down really how true it is. Like just people talking about like consistency is key. Like when it, like everyone says that, or like time over consistency equals results, but that really is like the truth. Like there's so many things I could go into and talk about. Like I could even go into that right now and just talk about just the weird, like, and it sounds weird that I'm saying this because I don't have like a big following to be like, yeah, see guys, it works. But I definitely believe there's a lot of truth in some of these things that I've learned and I've picked up on. And I think it'd be cool to just sit down and talk to my camera, talk to you guys. You guys can hop in, we could chat, share opinions. You guys could tell me how wrong I am, whatever. I really don't care. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this episode. I'm kind of rambling at this point. I got, like I said, some big videos, some good videos I'm excited for this week. Video with my mom, a challenge video. Obviously, hopefully a video too as well for the fights this week in the Sandhagen Dillashaw card. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, everything, my shameless plugs that I'm not going to talk about are linked in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys know anyone else that enjoys this type of content, if you have any other friends that are fans of MMA that like listening to podcasts, or just like wasting their time watching YouTube videos, send my stuff their way. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Like I said earlier, I'm really, really trying to make something out of this. This is like something that I'm really trying to pursue and make a living and a career off of. And if you guys help support, you guys share my stuff, that gets another person watching my video that could potentially be another subscriber. You like it, you do all that good jazz. It really, really helps my channel grow. Just anything, I would appreciate it. The YouTube algorithm picks up on it, except when you click on my video, you like it, and then you click off my video. Don't do that, because it actually hurts me more than it helps me, because YouTube algorithm factors in watch time more than they factor in likes, I believe. So if they see that people are just clicking on your video and then clicking off, that's not a good sign for me. Even if you like it, you click on and then you click off, you're like, okay, this is it. They think, just from a logistics standpoint and an algorithm, whatever point of view, it just means it's a bad video because someone's clicking on, clicking off. So don't do that. If you're actually genuinely going to watch the video, click on it, watch it, share it, put a like, whatever. But if you don't want to watch it, don't actually watch it. I really don't care for that one extra view. Just don't hurt me with the click on, click off. It's bad for the watch time. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. I really appreciate your guys' support. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, I will catch you guys later this week. Definitely next week for MMA Mondays.